Before it was everybody's favorite tuner car, it was a World Rally champion. It's a car that fears no bend or surface. Its duality of sport and practicality made it a driver's car like absolutely no other. It is the Subaru WRX. I'm Brad, this is Ideal, and this is why you need a Subaru WRX before it's too late. And be sure to stick around until the end because I'm going to tell you what my ideal WRX is. Let's go! Born from the fires of competition, the Subaru WRX was engineered to conquer the grueling world of rally racing, to dance on the edge of physics, and to bring victory to the brand that, until then, was just another name in the auto industry. In 1992, Subaru wanted to bring something to both the roads and the rally stages that could provide a shot of energy into the practical automotive segments and start a legacy for the brand, pun intended. Now, the WRX was going to be something all its own. It was going to be an all-wheel drive production car that wasn't a truck or an SUV, but a smaller performance-based passenger car that had the ability to engage its drivers on any surface while maintaining its practicality. Beginning as a model variant of the Impreza, because it was impressive, the WRX, which stood for World Rally Experimental, would introduce the world to features that would define the car for decades to come. Firstly, its infamous little 4-cylinder boxer motor. Its form factor allowed Subaru to mount it low and deep in the chassis, providing stability and dynamics. From 2.0 liters and up, any iteration of the EJ series engine has given enthusiasts the power, the noise, and the tuning potential to bring their WRX alive. Also, the WRX has always been offered with a manual transmission, which if you'd like to save the manuals, check out our best-selling Ideal T up here. Yes, manuals were offered from its birth to its current model year. Every single one has had the option for a manual, furthering its commitment to enthusiasts. And as we mentioned before, this thing is all-wheel drive. Always has been and hopefully always will be. From the beginning, Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system wasn't just engineered into the WRX for the occasional rainy day. This hallmark aspect of the car was derived from the unforgiving and wickedly slick rally stages that Subaru began competing in at the time of its debut. In the 90s, you could see things like the GC8 WRX absolutely destroying a gravelly European rally stage. But without all-wheel drive, the WRX wouldn't have been competitive. And ever since, all four wheels were part of the party. At the time of the WRX's introduction to the world, it didn't have much direct competition. Before it, the Audi Quattro was the only major name pioneering all-wheel drive tech in regular road cars. But in the same year as the WRX's debut, its arch nemesis made its debut, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution, aka the Evo. Both its rally and road rivalry with the Evo is a whole nother story that we won't get into here. But the popularity those two garnered led to a whole slew of new enemies down the road. Stuff like the Ford Focus RS, Volkswagen Golf R, and Audi S3 have all been in contention with the WRX in years past. So, what really sets the WRX apart from the others? It's the distinct rally-born design. It's the iconic hood scoop, or perhaps the flared wheel arches. It's the unique rumble of the boxer engine and the precision and lovable grip provided by its legendary all-wheel drive system. And overall, what makes a WRX stand out is its dual nature. Here was a car that you could race on Sunday and drive to work on Monday. And hell, you could even hit a rally stage on Friday, go to the autocross on Saturday in a stock WRX STI if you wanted to. And the same just simply can't be said for the majority of cars on the road today. No matter what generation that you choose, the WRX is a true driver's car. The engine response of the turbocharged engine is better than most and provides a natural and linear torque curve for the driver. Its smooth manual transmission and pedal calibration make it an easy car to drive every day, yet maintains that rewarding aspect of rowing your own gears. I'm looking at you, Volkswagen. Yeah. And its suspension, though stiffened over the years incrementally, has always given its drivers the most grip an all-wheel drive car can have through the corners, but still enough travel to soak up the most devious of bumps. And even though the WRX has always been known as an affordable sport compact of sorts, the inside of the car, it's special. Whether it's the contrast stitching and materials, the branded gauge cluster and floor mats, or the manual gear lever, it's clear you're in something very cool. And even better if you're in an STI, you know, the one that you want, You'll always spot some sexy pink lettering around the car to let you know what's up. Throughout its production run, the WRX has provided so many of the things drivers love, and there's a reason it has been a staple in the enthusiast community for years upon years. But those same folks who own, adore, and talk about these cars will also tell you it is not perfect. So Trav, your favorite YouTube master technician, will tell you what's not ideal about the WRX.
Look, the WRX is awesome, but it does create a love-hate relationship with some of its owners. And there are some key problems, particularly in the engine bay, that these cars can often face. Firstly, and most well known, is the head gasket failure. Excessive heat in the cylinder heads from either hard driving or an improper tune often causes the inherently weak head gaskets, or the heads themselves, to slightly deform and ultimately fail, giving you one expensive molten pile of engine. What's more is sometimes the heads can develop cracks. Pistons, rings, and rod bearings are also things to look out for in these engines. The lightweight nature of many of the moving parts has led to weak points in the engine's internals, which can result in several expensive issues. There isn't a ton to be done here unless you want to rebuild with stronger parts. Just make sure to maintain the engine to the best of your ability, and don't go adding a ton of boost without doing your homework first. Though this all might seem like a lot, most usually depends on the owner. The WRX is an incredible car through and through, and it's more than deserving of proper maintenance and care. If you take care of your WRX, it'll more than pay you back in smiles.
Okay, so now, mods that we love. As for getting the most out of your WRX, there's a few things you can do to make it your own. Of course, forged internals would be ideal to avoid engine issues, but that costs a lot of money, and there's some more humble ways to still add the fun factor. First, a performance wheel and tire setup with some coilovers will instantly transform the look of your WRX, and a high-quality aftermarket tune will transform it into a proper enthusiast car. The WRX looks good with almost any performance wheel you could find, and a good tire and suspension setup will make a noticeably improvement in handling and agility. A highly developed ECU reflash will add a bit more power without causing damage. Just please, do your research, and don't push things past what most tuners would consider stage 1 without accepting that you're going to start flirting with engine problems. Lastly, the WRX's engine note is iconic with its unequal length headers. If it were me, I'd just go with a tasteful exhaust setup, some bronze performance wheels with a set of really good tires, and a mild tune to spice everything up a bit while keeping its stock charm intact. Pricing of the ideal WRX. Now, considering that the WRX is still in production, the pricing and market for these things is all over the place. So, in the name of fairness, we're just gonna look at the second gen WRX, a generation full of variety, and one we consider to be commonly adored among enthusiasts. As for the lowest price on the market, we found this green 2003 Blob-Eye WRX that just sold a couple years ago for under $4,200 USD. The price is indicative of the mileage as it has almost 115K on it. As far as the highest price second gen, well, we have this absolute stunning original 2004 WRX STI in World Rally Blue Pearl with less than 7,000 miles. This thing is essentially brand new, and because of that, the price is way up there at a whopping $77,000 at auction price. Now that car is perfect, but what about the ideal WRX? Something special, yet not yearly salary type money. Well, think similar to the one that we just showed you. If you can't find a rare blaze yellow car, we would have to stick with the iconic World Rally Blue Pearl, and it would have to be the adorable Blob-Eye version with the STI package, of course. Keeping it cosmetically stock would be best for resale, but a set of OZ Rally or Bronze Assetto Sparco wheels make it really pop. For something like that, with middle of the road mileage, you could expect to spend anywhere from mid-20s to upper 30s depending on condition. And that being said, if you don't have STI money, you can find a clean WRX for around 10 grand. So, why do you need a WRX? The racing heritage of this car alone is enough to get excited about the WRX just thinking about it. But if you can get behind the wheel of one, especially an older one, you'll be driving a car that's bridged the gap between the road and the rally championships. You'll be driving a car that literally created and dominated its own segment for years. But more than that, it's a wonderful driving experience. It can be a fun commuter that lasts many years with good maintenance, or it could be your weekend car for carving up back roads. Or it could be an absolute menace on the dirt trails, or it could be all three. It's the Swiss Army knife of cars. Each generation has its own character, but every single WRX ever produced came from the same rally-driven dreams that Subaru decided to act on. Heritage, style, attitude, and character all wrapped together with love and Japanese steel. It is an absolute icon, and that's why every enthusiast needs to experience one. If you enjoyed this episode of Why You Need, please slap the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Also subscribe, turn on that notification bell if you're new, and check out this Ideal vid up here, or whatever YouTube recommends you watch next. I'm Brad, this is Ideal, and promise me one thing, keep living the ideal lifestyle.